For those of you who are feeling anxious or panicked and just don't feel like yourself, I want you to know that you do not have to function like how you did before quarantine right at this moment. It's alright to feel overwhelmed, scared, or simply unmotivated to do anything. Since lockdown has started, we've been bombarded by dozens of media outlets telling us that this is the time to start that new workout routine or learn that new language or try those 50 other things because we suddenly all have the time. But I encourage you to resist that feeling that doing more equals better. Do not be tempted to equate productivity with simply filling every waking moment with something to do, but rather think of productivity as doing what is necessary for you to be a happy and properly functioning human being. So, if you're feeling anxious, this might mean taking the time to explore these emotions. Journal about it, meditate, go for a 2-hour walk, maybe just because you felt like it. Do whatever you need to do to give yourself the space to let any racing thoughts or preoccupations rise to the surface. Practice self-acceptance and compassion for where you are right now. It's okay to be okay with just being. I recently read an article with a quote that I really like, which goes, "Bodies and minds fall, bad days happen. There is radical power to be found in accepting that sometimes we cannot live life to the fullest. When we are threatened by feelings of guilt or shame for not functioning at our best, we must remind ourselves that even the smallest moments of joy and peace can be as meaningful as any personal or professional achievement." All that being said, remember that the only person who can get you out of any negativity you're feeling is yourself. In the words of Shaka Singhal, a public speaker, writer, and activist who had spent 19 years in prison, 7 of which were in solitary confinement, on my 3rd year I began to journal, and I discovered that the only thing I could really control are my thoughts and my actions. It was a pivotal moment in my life. I went from being a victim of my circumstances to being a master of my destiny. I stopped worrying about when the prison administration was going to release me and focused my energy on becoming the best version of myself. I realized that I could turn my prison cell into a space of enlightenment, creativity, and higher learning. So, when you're ready to start crafting a new normal from this abnormal reality, don't forget the importance of routine. Don't just stay in your pajamas. Don't sleep in till noon just because you can, and don't leave your bed unmade just because you're not leaving your room that much anyway. There's something about being in quarantine that makes all time just start to blur together, so creating a semblance of routine can help you structure your days. And please, don't get sucked into the black hole of social media. Instead, do things that make you feel genuinely good. Also, you don't need to follow every single piece of news. Knowing enough is good, keeps you informed, but consuming too much information can get overwhelming and frankly, just depressing. And it doesn't help that there's a lot of misinformation going around as well. So I encourage you to focus on what you can control, like your connection to those around you, which is to say, do not neglect your relationships. If you're staying with loved ones, this is the perfect time for you to explore new ways to interact, from board game nights to daily walks, to actually sitting down and having meaningful conversations. How many of us live under the same roof as, but lead completely separate lives from our loved ones? When was the last time you actually asked your parents or grandparents stories about their past, or even just how they're doing? Even though now, especially, it feels like something we're never going to run out of, the time that we have together with our loved ones is not infinite. So don't just fall into the same rhythms of interaction that we're used to, but carve those spaces in your life for the people who truly matter. And finally, do not forget to stay grateful. And yes, I know no one likes to hear the advice to be grateful, because how can you be grateful when everything seems to be going wrong? But gratitude is not the denial of pain. Instead, it's the recognition that while we can't avoid hardship, frustration and suffering are not the determinants of who we are. Gratitude is therefore our conscious choice to acknowledge that there is hardship in our lives and in the world, but also to see that there is compassion and other blessings that we might be taking for granted. So, if you're feeling anxious, I hope you take the time to explore these emotions, to be kind to yourself, to cherish your relationships. I hope you realize that it's okay not to be okay, but also to know that you can and will get out of whatever you are feeling. Don't worry, there will be sunnier days ahead, for you and for the world both. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. I just wanted to jump in to add on something that I did not talk about earlier on. Wherever you are in the world, I encourage you to think about the people who are the most affected by this crisis and try to help them in whatever capacity you can, be it through donations, volunteering, etc. If you're from Singapore, I will list a bunch of organizations and causes down in the description below that you can check out in order to help in any way that you can. There are a lot of people who need our help, so let's try to spread as much love and kindness that we can in these trying times. The second thing is that this video is targeted more towards people who are feeling anxious and stressed and worried, but I'm also sure there's a bunch of you who are not as emotionally affected by this crisis and are simply just bored at home in quarantine. And so I will have another video coming up more towards people like that next week or the following week. So subscribe to stay tuned for that. And finally, I know that a lot of my viewers are from all parts of the world, which is so exciting because I love having a global audience and community. If you would like to help me caption any of my videos into your native language, English included, please feel free to check out the links. I will leave them in the description below on community captioning. I would love to have my videos reach more people, be it the deaf or hard of hearing community or other people who speak different languages around the world. So please help me caption if you have time or would like to. So I'll leave more details on that in the description and in the comment section below. And that's it for now. So I will see you guys next week. Bye!